Hello everybody, welcome to my talk. My name is Remco Kort. I'm a professor in microbiology at the Vrije Universiteit Amsterdam, and I'm also affiliated with ARTIS Micropia, which is the only microbe museum in the world. So I'm very happy to present to you here now on the 10th annual conference of inVIVO Planetary Health my talk about biodiversity and the perspective on biodiversity by ARTIS. So ARTIS is in fact founded in 1838. You see the entrance here of ARTIS in a very old picture from 1860. And it has been founded by the Zoological Society as Natura Artis Magistra, which means nature is the teacher of the art and the science. And this is actually in perfect agreement with its mission. Because what ARTIS aims to do is to stimulate love and care for nature. Apart from a zoo, ARTIS also contains an aquarium, a planetarium, a microbe museum, an arboretum, and an art and sculpture collection. So on the next slide you see the map of ARTIS, and this is actually, you wouldn't think of it if you look at it like this, but it's actually situated right in the center of Amsterdam. And this is really a place where you can get a feel for the biodiversity with this enormous amount of species of plants, animals, and also microbial species here in the Micropia Museum. And as we all know, currently the biodiversity is under severe pressure. The number of species has been declining for years, which affects the resilience of living ecosystem. And actually not only in the world around us, but also in ourselves. We see the decline of this biodiversity also reflected in the microbial life associated with our bodies, and this is linked to adverse health effects. ARTIS aims to provide views and action perspectives on the maintenance of biodiversity by interdisciplinary nature education and research programs, accessible to all citizens. And the fostering of love for Earth begins in ARTIS from a great distance at the planetarium. So by looking at the rise of Earth, as you can see here, this was actually shown on the well-known Apollo mission. Astronauts literally experienced by this image, seeing the Earth as a small living oasis in a vast desert of the cosmos. And the effect of this emotion is known as the overview effect. And what we are currently doing is we are allowing visitors to have this emotion and this overview effect. And we are also studying the impact by a research program. So by doing so, we can really monitor whether the view of this overview effect will affect the perspective of the visitors on the planet Earth. So going from a very large perspective to the smallest perspective, we see here the microbe museum, Micropia, where I'm standing right now. And this is where we also want to give a perspective on biodiversity in ourselves. So if we go into this museum, there's actually a place where it is possible to scan your body and get an impression of the microbes that are associated with your body. And as we know from the scientific literature here depicted in a nice image from the lab of Justin Sonnenberg from Stanford University in a recent science paper, he shows actually that a number of the bacterial families is actually declining as a result of our lifestyles. So going from a very traditional lifestyles by for example, tribes from Africa like the Hadzabe in Tanzania, all the way to modern lifestyle in the industrialized part of the world, like in Canada, Europe, USA, you see that there is a decline in certain bacterial species. And the question is whether this decline is actually also related to adverse health effects. So this is something that we are currently also addressing here in ARTIS by a citizen science project, where people actually can change their food diet by increasing the portions of fermented foods and also fibers, and we're trying to monitor, in this case, the microbiome and have these people also educated on the effect of this food intervention. Not only in humans, but we're also studying this in ARTIS in the case of gorillas by a rewilding project and giving them actually, these tree branches as indicated over here, monitoring the result on the gut microbiome from these gorillas, as well as changes in their behavior in this rewilding project. Well, not only in research, but also in the garden itself, in ARTIS, you do see that there has been a very different view on actually how to get in touch with the biodiversity, because this is, for example, a picture of the birdhouse, the old birdhouse in ARTIS. You see many cages in a row, and look at how we actually change this birdhouse in keeping the old structures, but now actually as human beings we are present in the very same enclosure as these birds, as you can see. And here, by making these dark places on the side, we prevent the birds from flying at the place where the people are watching. Well, not only in the birdhouse, also in the primate house, a very similar experience where you really become immersed into nature. And as a final example, I would like to give you the enclosure for the wallabies, where also you're able to be together with the animals in the same space. So last but not least, I would like to tell you about a novel museum that is added to ARTIS, which is called the Grote Museum, so the large museum. This is a museum about people. It will open in April next year and provides insight into yourself so that you can act better in a rapidly changing world. Because after all, only when you understand who you are and how you are connected to all life on Earth, you can think about the future. So I would like to finish my talk by saying that every year we are organizing a Planetary Health Festival in ARTIS around the longest day of the year in June. And I all hope to meet you there one day, because this is a festival where really all of these things in ARTIS come together and provide you this more of a holistic view on nature. I would like to thank you very much for your attention.